Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about types of sentences and this is Mariam Muhammad Farouk. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so first of all, we need to know some definitions and examples of basic sentence elements. First definition we need to know is the independent clause. What's the independent clause? An independent clause can stand alone as a sentence. It contains a subject, a verb, and is a complete idea. It gives you a complete meaning. Like for example, I like pizza. This is an independent clause. It gives you a complete meaning and this is a full sentence. Okay. He reads many books. This is also an independent clause. Okay. So the second definition we need to know is dependent clause. What is a dependent clause? A dependent clause is not a complete sentence. It must be attached to an independent clause to become complete or to give you a full meaning, so it can't stand alone. Okay, for example, although I like pizza, it didn't give me a full meaning. I don't understand. Needs an independent clause to give you a full meaning or so it can stand alone. Can't stand alone. Other example, because he reads many books. This is dependent clause. It needs an independent clause to give you a full meaning. So also we need to know what's the subject. The subject could be a person, animal, place, thing, or concept that does an action. So how we can determine it? How we can know where is the subject in the sentence? Determine the subject in a sentence by asking the question who or what. I like pizza. Who likes pizza? He reads many books. Who reads many books? He. So this is the subject in the sentence and this is the subject in the sentence. The verb. The verb expresses what the person, animal, place, thing, or concept does. So how we can determine it? How we can find the verb in the sentence? Determine the verb in a sentence by asking the question what was the action or what happened. I like pizza. What was the action here or what happened to the pizza? He likes it. He reads many books. Reads here is the verb. The movie is good. Here is the verb to be. Okay. Okay. The object. The object could be a person, animal, place, thing, or concept that receives the action. So how we can determine it? How we can know where is the object in the sentence? Determine the object in a sentence by asking the question, the subject that what or to whom or for whom. I like pizza. Pizza here is the object. He reads many books. Many books here is the object. Okay. Okay, so prepositional phrase. What's the prepositional phrase? It's a phrase that begins with a preposition in, at, for, behind, until, after, of, during, and modifies a word in a sentence. A prepositional phrase answers one of many questions. Here are a few examples. Where, when, in what way. I like spaghetti for dinner. He reads many books in the library. Okay. So finally now we are going to talk about the types of sentences. There are 4 types of sentence that we are going to talk about. Sample, compound, complex, compound, complex. Okay. Okay, so let's begin with a sample sentence. A sample sentence contains a subject and a verb, and it may also have an object and modifiers. However, it contains only one independent clause. Let's move to the examples. She wrote. She is the subject and wrote is the verb. She completed her literature review. He organized his sources by theme. They studied APA rules for many hours. Those are all sample sentences, and those are all examples for sample sentence, and the highlighted yellow is the subject, the highlighted green is the verb, and the highlighted blue is the object, and those are prepositional phrases. Okay, what is a compound sentence? A compound sentence contains at least two independent clauses. These two independent clauses can combine with a comma or a coordinating in conjunction or with a semicolon. Okay, let's move to the examples. She completed her literature review, comma, and she created her reference list. Those are two independent clauses, and they are connected with comma and coordinating conjunction. He organized his sources by theme, then he updated his reference list. Those are two independent clauses connected with semicolon. They studied APA rules for many hours, but they realized there was still much to learn. Those are two independent clauses connected with comma and coordinating conjunction, but a complex sentences. A complex sentence contains at least one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. Dependent clauses can refer to the subject, the sequence time, or the causal elements of the independent clause. If a sentence begins with dependent clause, we have to put comma after it, after this clause. And if on the other hand, the sentence begins with an independent clause, there is not comma separating the two clauses. So let's move to the examples. Although she completed her literature review, she still needed to work on her methods. This is an dependent clause and this is an independent clause, and they are connected with comma because we started with the dependent clause. The comma is okay. Because he organized his sources by theme, it was easier for his readers to follow. This is a dependent clause and this is an independent clause, so the comma in this sentence because it begins with an independent clause. They studied APA rules for many hours as they were so interesting. There is no comma here in the sentence because it begins with an independent clause. Okay, so the last type of the sentence, compound complex sentences. Sentence types can also be combined. A compound complex sentence contains at least two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. Let's move to the examples. She completed her literature review, but she still needs to work on her methods section even though she finished her methods course last semester. The highlighted yellow is dependent clause, and there's a comma here, but in the coordinating conjunction, she still needs to work on her methods section. This is another independent clause, even though she finished her methods course last semester. This is a dependent clause. Although he organized his sources by theme, he decided to arrange them chronologically, and he carefully followed the meal plan for organization. Okay, the last example. With pizza and soda at hand, they studied APA rules for many hours and they decided that writing in APA methods made sense because it was clear, concise, and objective. So, thank you for watching, and those are my references. Thank you so much.